Welcome back. With so much chaos and confusion yesterday, we wanted to take a step back and look at exactly how the day unfolded, how the halls of Congress were overrun so easily, and with that renewed scrutiny over how police responded to the rioters compared to so many troubling scenes in our nation's streets in recent months. Here's ABC's JuJu Chang.
When the day dawned in D.C., the nation expected a very different kind of drama to play out, with some Republicans planning to object to the Electoral College vote count. By mid-morning, thousands of Trump supporters were gathering for a so-called Save America march, not far from the White House. There to protest President Trump's November election defeat, just 14 days before Joe Biden's inauguration. At noon, the president took to the stage, fueling the fire of anger and dissent.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen.
He called on Congress to reject the election results, an election he lost by 7 million votes, but continues to call rigged, despite zero evidence.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol. You'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Meanwhile, at the Capitol, armed crowds gathered, and police were grossly underprepared for what was about to happen, despite the known threats posed by some protesters.
Madam Speaker, the Vice President and the United States Senate.
By 1:30, the House and Senate broke off to debate separately after GOP Representative Paul Gosar and Texas Senator Ted Cruz objected to Arizona's Electoral College votes for Joe Biden.
I rise up for myself and 60 of my colleagues to object to the counting of the electoral ballots from Arizona.
On the Senate side, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell bluntly confronted his Republican colleagues.
The voters, the courts, and the states have all spoken. If we overrule them, it would damage our republic forever. As
debate continued outside, President Trump supporters were arriving, and the mood had distinctly changed.
Stop the steal! Stop the steal!
Demonstrators soon climbing the walls and scaffolding, violently confronting law enforcement.
It was clear that the crowd was intent on causing harm to our officers by deploying chemical irritants on police.
While inside, the vice president was whisked away by the Secret Service. As the mob moved in, the entire Capitol went into lockdown. But protesters were already inside, some carrying Confederate flags. The law enforcement presence was no match for the sheer size of the invasion, and now many facing criticism as images of them showing little resistance are emerging. This man taking a selfie with a Capitol police officer as other police stand nearby. In the House chamber, lawmakers huddled in the balcony as armed security barricaded the door. At one point, shots fired. A protester hit. She eventually dies.
They brought out a woman on a stretcher, rushed her inside. We did see blood gushing.
And there's now smoke coming from over by the House gallery.
For hours, while his supporters rampaged through the Capitol, breaking onto the Senate floor, into Nancy Pelosi's office, the president said nothing. By 4 o'clock, President-elect Biden publicly called on Trump to stop the mob.
I call on President Trump to go on national television now to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this siege.
Minutes later, Trump released a video statement full of lies about the election, but telling them to go home. It was eventually taken down from all social media sites.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special.
We love you. You are special. Those were the words of the president about the people that had just stormed the Capitol building. So a very strange turn of events.
By 5 o'clock, law enforcement had started reclaiming control of some parts of the Capitol grounds. Multiple sources telling ABC News President Trump repeatedly refused to send in the National Guard before finally agreeing in the late afternoon. 6 o'clock, a citywide curfew ordered by the mayor went into effect. A total of just 14 arrests by Capitol Police, 13 for suspected unlawful entry into the Capitol. D.C. police saying they carried out 26 arrests on Capitol grounds. But much of the Trump-supporting mob simply walked away. A stark contrast from the past summer in Lafayette Park, where largely peaceful Black Lives Matter protesters were met with a military show of force. Physical confrontations. Heavily armed and armored National Guardsmen lined up on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. The double standard on how law enforcement responded glaringly apparent, and not only in the nation's capital. Over the summer in Kenosha, police officers at a protest over the police shooting of Jacob Blake gave armed white teenager Kyle Rittenhouse water. He later shot and killed 2 people. His lawyers say it was self-defense. NBA players had protested Blake's shooting last summer by walking off the court. And again last night, dismayed by the perpetual double standard when it comes to police response, the Boston Celtics and Miami Heat walking off the court before the game. Teams issuing a joint statement before returning to play, saying the drastic difference between the way protesters this past spring and summer were treated and the encouragement given to today's protesters who acted illegally just shows how much more work we have to do.
Our thanks to JuJu.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.